Hey y'all, what's up? This is the I Just Think It's Funny podcast. I'm Destiny.
And I'm Brianna, and we've got some things to get off our chest because sometimes you just have to talk it out with your girlfriends.
My girl, y'all finish it. I know y'all been watching. I know y'all been streaming. Go ahead, answer that. So, before we get started, we're just gonna do a quick little homegirl check-in. Just want to see how you doing today.
I'm good. Been better, but I'm good. Blessed and highly favored. How are you doing this week?
Amen. I'm good. Been busy writing and doing some other things, but I'm good. Went hiking today, minus the smog. Shout out to y'all who came after me personally and messaged me about that. But it wasn't even smog. I'm sorry, the smoke. I was not out there with the fire and everything, but today was a good day. Nice and cool, so I had a good time with my friend and having just a good Sunday, ready to just relax and hopefully start the rest of this week off pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you have a zaddy of the week?
Not really. Nobody's really on my
Or just like a woman you admire of the week?
This week is just, has anybody done anything impressive this week? I don't know. I really don't know. I guess because today is Lovecraft Day, so I'm going to just, shout out Jonathan Majors. He just really does something for me with his performance on camera. I really like him. Really like watching him and following his journey. It's cool. What about you?
I don't have one. I've been trying to rack my brain, trying to think of who do I really. No one's done it for me this week, at all. So I'm gonna go with just a woman I admire, and I'm going with Tracee Ellis Ross.
Okay, that's fair.
Been watching Girlfriends every day, so I think just seeing her every day has been what, she really did her thing on that show. There's moments where you're mad at her. There's moments where you love her, and I just think overall she was a good character. There was a lot of highs and lows.
That's
I'm going with her.
Character arc. Every writer and creator should look out for that, because I know a lot of people are out here writing and coming up with stories, but Joan is our girl. She's extra. We love her and we hate her, but we love Tracee every day. Every day.
Yeah.
Speaking of, did she release some new products?
The only thing I know about are her latest tools, her edge comb brush thing, and I think she has a pick, stuff like that. I haven't tried any of the tools, but yeah.
I'm scared to know how much a pick and an edge brush costs, because
her stuff is not that expensive.
I'm talking about the tool, because Black girldom is basically getting a toothbrush.
Yes. It's a very nice edge brush. I don't know the quality of the bristles per se, but the look of it looks very the handle is thick, which I like. It's thick enough for you to hold on to. It looks like a really good quality. I don't really care about, my edges don't really do what other people's edges do for some reason. But if it did, I would probably get this. I think it's $9.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Tracee. I'm going to just stick with my newly non-used Colgate toothbrush.
Whatever works. It just doesn't look as nice, next to products. I like packaging and presentation. So the toothbrush, it does work, but it's just kind of ugly.
At the end of the day, my edges aren't ugly. That's all that matters. I don't want to pay for the price of the edge control for the brush.
I get that.
It's $3.99. Get you a 2-pack. Take one out. Swoop, swoop. That's it.
I get it.
That's cool for her. I really like seeing her do some great things. And since we missed last week, we didn't cover the Emmy stuff. So there's been a couple of great things popping out of the Emmy within the last week and a half or so. We got Ron and Jasmine Cephas Jones becoming the first father-daughter duo, which is super dope. I'm a huge fan of Ron Cephas Jones. He's been around forever. I didn't even realize, like, I was watching Double Platinum. If y'all don't know, that's the movie with Diana Ross and Brandy. I was about to give y'all the whole premise, but basically ruins the story. Anyways, it's a cute little movie about mother-daughter relationships and repairing, and Diana Ross plays Brandy's mom. And Ron Cephas Jones had his little cameo in it. He was just the photographer. And I'm like, look at you now. Got a whole Emmy. You was just probably number 49 on the call sheet out of 60. And I look at you. You probably are.
Yeah. He's always been around, like, he's been in so many random projects. Like, he'll just pop up and be a neighbor or the photographer. Like, he's just always somebody random. So it's nice to see him with a concrete, solid, like, reoccurring role and to get an Emmy for it. Because he's done his time. He's put in the work.
He has. Have you seen This Is Us?
I've seen This Is Us. I stopped watching a long time ago, so I don't even know what's happened. But his role on the show was very good up until, you know, what happened to him. But it was, yeah. I thought he did his thing on there.
I ain't never cried over nobody. If y'all haven't seen it, just stop listening for 10 seconds because I'm going to say what I need to say. When he died, crying in the club, man. Crying in the club. I ain't never cried over somebody fictional the way that I cried. You would have thought he was my granddad. Like, I was just, my mama coming in, like, you good? I'm like, you just don't know William is God. Like, they were doing it, and they was trying to repair it, and I was over it. She was like, girl, cut it off. So, you know, my mom just thinks This Is Us is that trigger point for me. I'm not a huge crier. I'm not. So it was beautiful. I'm glad he's getting his roses, his flowers, everything. Like, he's amazing.
Yes.
And then Jasmine, I don't know too much about her. Do you know?
I don't think I've ever seen her in anything. I need to watch her Quibi
the Freeway
performance.
She did really good in that. I watched a couple of episodes of that because Variety had like a virtual event where they did a panel with her. It was all on Zoom and everything. Her, Stefan James, and the writer, I think the director of it. So yeah, she did really good. I was like, oh, that's his daughter. I think I know her husband is one of the guys from Hamilton. Can't remember his name. He was the one who played Mars in
Oh.
Yeah, that's her husband.
Yeah. Ramos.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love him. Okay. Yeah.
That's her boo thing. I don't know if she's from Hamilton. Like, part of me wants to be like she's from Hamilton, but then I feel like I'm lying if I say that. I feel bad.
Thanksgivings in their house must be great. Like, they just all talk about art and stuff. Like, the daddy, the son-in-law, the daughter. Like,
yeah,
that seems pretty great.
It does. Okay, yeah, she is from Hamilton. Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so
talented little family they got.
Right, little musical family. Dang. And then who else got something? Zendaya.
Outstanding actress in a drama series, second Black woman after Viola Davis to win that award.
Wow.
Yeah. Zendaya did her thing in Euphoria.
That show is bothersome to me. Like,
once you get past how old they're supposed to be.
It's weird. Like, it does not sit right. Like, how, as a writer, do you sit there and write about, quote unquote, teenagers doing sexual things? Like, it's not like, oh, they were in the back seat and we cut as he kisses her. No. You got people out here being webcam people. Like, how do you feel comfortable?
I think it's just weird because it's a show about high school students, but I wouldn't want my high school students watching this.
It's not for it. like kids.
I
That's
feel like it's a cautionary tale for parents. Like, A, this might be going on, just so you know.
I don't know. Like I recently
It's extreme, but
yeah, like I recently saw somebody else like in a writers group that I'm in brought up the point. They're like, why is it that when people are writing these coming of age stories or things based about your younger life, excuse me, they have like teenagers. I mean, of course, teenagers are having sex. Yes, that's what some people do. But they have these teenagers doing some wild things in high school. Like if you put everything in Euphoria to college, I would digest that a little bit better. Because like legal not legally, but like when you think about it, this is supposed to replicate art and you're supposed to believe these people being at certain ages. It's easier for me to believe a 19, 20-year-old is doing some of these things versus, oh, this girl, she's 18 or she's 25 playing a 16-year-old doing this stuff. That's weird to me. That just does not sit well with me.
initially, yes, I had that same thought, but then I, getting deeper into the story, like I forgot about that a little bit. And then I was like, I think this was the point. I think it's more salacious and more shocking the fact that they're in high school. Because if they were in college, it wouldn't be as shocking. It would be like, this is crazy, but like, okay. But because they're in high school, it's like they're in a whole nother world. This is a whole nother world, and we're all looking at it like, please tell me this isn't real. Please tell me this isn't real.
Yeah.
I think it adds to the flavor of the show.
It definitely, there's a line there that it's riding. It's the fact that it's about high schoolers for adults. That's where I'm like, yeah. It's weird. Like it's very weird. It's different. Like I think about like Breakfast Club and like is that the show? I mean the movie Breakfast Club.
The 80s?
Yeah.
When they got the tension, yeah.
Yeah, okay. I was like, for some reason, all I had in my mind was like Charlemagne. Like it was weird. I was like, I'm pretty.
They took the name. Okay.
Yeah, I was sitting around like, I'm pretty sure it is a movie. Like that's a high school talking about high school and stuff for high schoolers, and even like as an adult, you can watch it and you're like, yeah, oh, you reflect and you're like, oh yeah, I remember high school. Da 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 da. But Euphoria. My high school experience was not like this.
No, but I don't think that's the point. I don't think you're supposed to relate.
I don't
think you're supposed to watch it and be like, this is wild. I don't think you're supposed to relate. I don't think you're supposed to be like, oh, my high school experience. Nobody's high school experience that I know was like Euphoria.
There's some people who were saying theirs was, and I'm like,
come on. That stuff was, you need to go to therapy. That stuff was wild.
I'm like, what? I mean, it might be Gen Z's because, you know, Gen Z now has like the webcam stuff. They got all this internet.
They have a lot more access, and I'm sure their high school experience is a lot more Euphoria-like than the Breakfast Club.
Like, these kids are eating Tide Pods. I put nothing past them.
I ate some questionable stuff in my youth, but...
Tide Pod questionable?
Probably would not have gone as far as a Tide Pod, but like, I don't know, I used to like eat like, never mind. It's beside the point. But I was younger than, you know, I was like 5 and 6.
Okay, you don't know what you're doing at 5 and 6. 5 and 6
Okay, if you are older than 5 or 6 and you're eating a Tide Pod, something is wrong with you. Something's wrong with you.
Oh, Jesus. The children are lost. The children are lost. Parents out there, help your kids.
Watch your kids. I think that's the biggest thing. Watch you know what they be doing on the internet.
Look, I'm about to have a no internet household.
But that's impossible. Like the kids on the internet now because they can't go to school. Like,
look,
it's kind of wild.
In 2025, oh God, that's 4 years from now. Okay, that's fair. I'm saying in 2035, by then I should have a kid of school age. Outside of homework, you ain't on that computer. What you doing on the computer?
Yeah, right. You say this now.
What are you like? What? You're 12. Who are you talking to?
My friends.
You got a cell phone. You gonna have a little flip phone. Y'all want to text? You can
A
text.
flip phone? They probably won't even have those in 2030.
They gonna get a little jitterbug. Jitterbugs are always needed. Always.
Oh my gosh. They would cry and be like, people are making fun of me with my jitterbug phone.
I'm like, but are those people paying the bill? Exactly.
Girl.
I'm a black mama, my kids. Oh.
They gonna find themselves a secret burner phone with internet on it.
Oh, with what?
Set up a webcam, make some money.
Oh, let me find. Ooh, we go into counseling, and you think, oh, I'm in the prehistoric age, but you with a flip phone? Oh, okay.
It's becoming very easy to hide things,
which is scary. Like
it's very scary.
I couldn't imagine. Like, you also don't want to be a hover parent. As much as I'm joking about the flip phone, I don't think I would do that to my kid. But
might try.
That's like the beginning stages of a phone. I feel like it, because you remember when phones were a thing? Oh my god, this just dug up a memory. Okay, you remember when kids started getting phones? So this is maybe when we're like 10, 11 or whatever, and there was like no, I actually did get a phone when I was 10.
Yeah, you were one of the fast kids. I didn't get a phone like 10 or 11.
My daddy gave me a flip phone, so no.
So? You still had a phone.
I couldn't do it. Who was I calling?
Exactly.
I called my mom all day and leave singing voicemails on her office phone. I called my little friends in 5th grade, like 2, but I had to call on the weekends after 5 o'clock.
So what you need the phone for?
Well, when you got divorced parents,
That's true. A lot of divorced parents do give their kids.
You know, parents phones. Don't do. The parent who give you the phone is a parent that don't want to talk to the other parent.
Yikes.
You know it's true. Like, in what world? It's like you could easily, if the parents are getting along, you know, okay, I can call the house phone. Hey, Jason, how you doing? You good? Good. Well, let me talk to little Timmy. Okay, well, here's Timmy. Parents don't do that when they be divorced. They be like, you see the number on the caller ID? Your daddy calling.
Oh, that's awful.
Your daddy calling. You better answer the phone. Another thing, answer. Hey, James. Hold on, let me get her.
Jesus. So sad. It's actually sad. I would be cordial on the house phone.
Look, I think in the cases of non-cordial divorced parents, it has ingrained in us a level of petty that we probably would have never been exposed to. Probably. Never would have. Because that's some petty stuff that be happening. Be all awkward, trying to avoid talking to other people. Why? You made this kid with this person. Now you want to be all weird? What? Oh, I could write a book. Anywho. Moving right along. So, oh wait, I was talking about the phone. Now you done made me forget the phone.
Because you got triggered. It's okay.
I did not get triggered.
You got triggered. You start having flashbacks.
I didn't say it was my experience. I just said some divorced kids. I know plenty of those. Mm-hmm. Not saying it's my experience for those out here wondering, but some of it may be. All I'm going to say. Oh, God. It don't even matter about that little phone. Whatever. Screw the phone. So, let's move on to bigger and better things. We are adults, you know? And as much as we hate to think this, we really are here, and it's not going anywhere. Like, it's only getting older. Like,
You're only getting deeper and deeper into your adulthood.
Yeah, this is a journey I didn't sign up for. I'm here. I was forced against my will. Whoop. I mean, I'm sure that's your story too, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Adulting hits you hard.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not an easy transition.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you just kind of get pushed off a ledge post-college. It's just kind of like, well, see ya.
It's like, well, all right.
Like, my heart goes out to the kids who decided, for whatever reason, that they weren't going to go to college after high school, because even when you're in college, it's still a safety net. You know what I mean? Like, college is still a safety net. Yeah, you might have moved out and you're going to school and you are approaching adulthood, you know, because you're making your own decisions. But as soon as you leave, like, I really feel like that's when it really hits you. So, like, the kids who just jump from high school to adult, I'm like, what were your early 20s like? That's scary.
I'm jealous of those. Like, I was trying to drop out of college multiple times.
I mean, most people want to.
No,
but you did it.
I was literally like going through, okay, so if I leave college, here's what I can do. And, you know, I feel like the early 20s is a little different when you aren't in college. Because, like, how do you make friends? Like, I think about that in your early 20s because, like, let's say if you're...
At work.
But then you're working with older people for the most part, depending on what you're doing.
Yeah, it depends on where you work.
Because, like, if you go, like, a trade, for instance, which is a good way to go, too, because college isn't for everybody, you might meet people around your age. So, like, if you're in the tech school, you might meet your...
I still consider that college.
Well,
a trade school, if you're really going full-time, I consider that college.
Yeah. I mean,
it's a safety net still.
I feel like with trade school, though, it's a little different than college.
It's a little different because most of the time, like, you're working and doing stuff at the same time. But I still feel like there's still that safety net of you. When I say safety net, I mean, like, you're still in the mindset of I'm still figuring it out.
Okay.
Because you're in a learning process. So when you're in that learning process, you feel a little bit more security because you're not set. You know what I mean? You don't have to have it all figured out yet. It's kind of like, oh, I'm still in trade school. Like, if someone asks you, what you doing?
Oh, you're not in college? Oh, no. I'm getting my certification in electrician.
At ITT Tech to be an electrician. You know?
Well, is ITT Tech still around?
Yeah, I'm sure.
I haven't seen a commercial. You know, they always had the Blue Tenant commercials, and it was like somebody like with the little scientist thing at ITT Tech. Call, what are you?
That's because you're not watching, like, Judge Mathis and Jerry Springer. You know, those were those commercials.
I guess. It's fair.
You know.
The ICDC, I think that's gone. Yeah, I think it's been gone for a minute. And then
how much Lil Romeo made.
We should ask him. I'm just gonna never make a joke publicly about the song because growing up hip hop, he and Master P got real bad about Lil Twist, like, saying something. They're like, well, he probably went off the ICDC. And, like, they went mad because they're like, where's Romeo? He's like, probably at ICDC or something like that. And they got mad. They're like, why are you making a joke about it? It's real. We helping our community. And I'm like, it's just a joke. But then I'm like,
oh gosh, it's funny. The song was corny and it was funny. Get over it.
Like, it was a running joke for me and my friends. Not the actual school. It was just
his role in the marketing was funny.
It felt a little random.
It was very random. He claimed he wanted to talk about USC all day. He promoted ICDC. That's what was funny to me.
It was a little conflicting because he didn't finish USC. So
that doesn't matter.
I don't remember the timeline. I think this was like right after he left, or sometime after he left, and now it's like, oh, the ICDC college, and it's like, it was just
right. It was weird. It was weird.
Not saying you can't promote it. Like, I think it's great that they were promoting it to spread awareness, like within like our communities, to empower them to get education.
It doesn't change the fact that it's funny.
It just felt
collect your money and promote your community. I'm all for that, but it was funny. It's a joke. The song was corny.
It felt random. It felt random. It felt like a parody of a video.
Yes,
I think that's what it is. It felt like a parody because like
the delivery was funny. The message was great. The delivery was hilarious because it did feel like a parody.
True. I just don't want Master P and Romeo coming after me.
Yeah.
I don't want Master P, Romeo, if you're ever listening to this.
That's because you're trying to marry into the family. Whatever. Whatever.
I'm not trying to marry into the family.
You trying to get that ICDC money. Okay.
Look, we thought it was a great idea. Creative approach. Great.
Yeah. Anyway, as thinking back to your young self, maybe while you were watching these ICDC commercials as in your youth, what was some of your expectations of adulthood? Like, what did you expect was going to be happening where you are today in your 20s?
Oh, the laugh of disappointment. Well, 17, 18-year-old me thought she would be very close to getting married by now. If she was not already engaged, she would have been in a very committed relationship with the man that she met in college. Because, you know, you go to college and you meet your husband, a different world right there. And, or love and
back. In the Joan Clayton is this? Continue.
I told you. So she thought that would be happening. We're not there yet, you know. God has his time and it's fine. What else? She thought she would really be in her career, like really just going hard at the things she really wanted to do. She not there yet. That's a journey too. We seeking answers for that. And then she thought she would be living in some luxury apartment in LA. Refer to the previous answer for that. Like, so, it was a very glamorized, this is the perfect situation. Like, ooh, it's gonna be so great to be an adult. I'm gonna be grown. And we're here now. And it's no.
Yeah.
What about you?
So mine is very similar. I placed more emphasis on the career and the location. So high school student me was like, I'm going to live in Los Angeles or New York, most likely Los Angeles. And by the time, what am I, 26 now? I figured by the time I was 25, I would buy a condo.
That's cute. I like it.
As my first property. And I was going to work in some realm of entertainment. It started off as I wanted to be a journalist. So maybe young me was like, I'll be a journalist and I'll make enough money and I'll buy my condo at 25. And then, you know, I always planned to like buy my condo at 25, have, you know, like a nice car, but not like a super luxurious car, you know, nice car, nice condo, furnished. Most likely would have a boyfriend. Maybe we're not engaged yet, maybe we are. Eventually we would become engaged and get married. We'll sell my condo and buy our home and live our happily life. But that the marriage and the relocating to adult, that was really on the back burner for me. My focus was be in your career, study climbing in your career, buy your condo. Like that was in my head. That's where I was gonna be at mid-20s. That was it. Travel the world and do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I forgot to add mine. I thought I would be a famous actress.
Okay.
I don't want that. Like, the more I work in this industry, the more I don't want to be famous. I'm like, ew, ew.
So that's funny because if you would have gotten everything that you said you wanted, you wouldn't have been ready for it. And you would have been like, I don't even like this.
I'd be like, I don't like this. Y'all be seeing me paparazzi. Is she okay? She keeps walking around with hoodies on, covering her face.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just funny. Like, you plan out things you want. And then it's kind of funny when you look back and you're like, man, I'm glad I didn't, like, I'm totally in a different mindset now. Because even think about where you were in high school. Like, I think about my life in phases. Like, high school me was different than college me. College me was different than early 20s me. And now I'm in like mid going over the hump down into my late 20s. And that's a different version than I was in my early 20s. Like, you want different things. You have different goals. Like, it's just weird because in those phases, you're thinking like, this is pretty concrete. This is what I want. And then you move into a different phase and you're like, it's just a lot. It's just a lot.
That's like me with the idea of kids. Like, when I was in high school, I'm like, oh, I just can't wait to get married and have a family. It's going to be so great. Blah, blah, blah. Now I'm like, whew. The more that it becomes like, oh, this really could be a reality, I still want to get married. It's just like, oh, dang. Like, what if I never have kids? And it's like, well, is that the worst? Like, I mean, I want to have kids. So if anybody's out there listening and considering, you know,
impregnating you,
no. Please don't do that. I was gonna say considering me as their wife. Darn it.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that comes along later, but you know, I do want kids. That is a non-negotiable. I want them. But it's like that. I never thought I would be flexible with that. Like, wasn't until recently I was like, oh, what if I really did have kids? Like, would this be the end of the world? And I was like, no. I was like, that's adulting right there.
That's a reality that a lot of people come to the conclusion of. And some people have the complete opposite. But they're like, I don't want to, a lot of young people are like, I don't want kids. Like, ew. Next thing you know, they have kids. Like, they decided, like, you know what, I'm with somebody and we love each other. Now we want kids. Like, it's just really interesting how much your mind changes while you're even in adulthood, how much it changes.
I think we change every day. That's why I think we have to allow each other grace to evolve. Like, yeah, people will do some messed up stuff, but like, you're not necessarily the same person that you were in that moment. Like, there's different factors that play into why people say things that they say or do things that they do. And we just have to, of course, make grace. You don't let everything slide, but just be aware that we're always evolving and changing, and mindsets change. That's when people are like, oh, they was racist back in the day. I'm like, they could have changed. Would I openly be like, come into my house, mine used to be racist, brethren? And I might be like, okay, that's good. I'm glad you changed your mind, but you're going to stay over there. Like, you can change all day, but like, I still can protect myself and guard myself.
Yeah.
So,
are there anything, like any pieces of wisdom that you had to learn or that you're currently learning in your adulthood that's like helping you?
I'm learning a lot. Being an advocate for myself is something that I really had to like just jump on it, understand. I still don't 100% like put it into action all the time, but just knowing that if I don't speak up for like my needs, no one else is going to know. And I think sometimes we just assume people know certain things, and it's like, no, some people really might not be aware. Some people don't care. That's those people too. But we have to be able to be like, hey, I need this. Like, you're not supporting my needs with X, Y, and Z. Or the way you said X, Y, and Z to me, it hasn't been sitting well with me. Like, being able to express myself. Like, I think just showing up for me has been like the biggest thing, because like I will show up for everybody else. I'd be like, oh, what you need? Oh, you going through? Oh, I'm here. Call me to cry. I'm like, no, don't call me to cry. Not to say like don't call me, but it's like I have to make space for me and my mindset too, and my mental health and where I'm at. Like, yeah, I'm gonna be there to support you, but like, don't use me as a dumping ground. Like, if you need to vent, say, "Hey, girl, you got a second?" Like that. Hey, girl, you got a second? That's a thing. Like, are you in the mental space for this? Okay, cool, cool, cool. Let me tell you what happened. Like, doing that has been like super significant for me. Super duper.
That's good. That's good.
What about you?
I think for me, it's very similar. Like the biggest thing I learned is very similar, and it has to do a little bit more so with boundaries and learning to tell people no. Like I'm a people pleaser by nature. Like I will jump over backwards, I'll cater to you, I'll do stuff like that. But in the long run, the person who's the people pleaser ends up getting screwed over, messes up your own mental health and your own needs. And yeah, you might be satisfying that person in the moment, but a lot of times people pleasers get screwed over really in the long run, because there's a lot of people who are just takers, and they think, oh, you're the strong friend, oh, you can handle it, blah blah blah. And it's like, after a while you just get tired of just getting sucked dry from fine. It could be money, it could be just your personal time. I think time is a really big one for me. Like a lot of people have wasted my time at different points, and I've just learned to be a little bit more aware of that and being like, okay, what do you need my help with? If this is not gonna, if I don't see the benefit to like me helping you, if I'm not gonna learn anything, if I don't feel like I owe you this amount of thing, or you haven't shown me that if I know you wouldn't do the same for me, like I'm learning to just be like, no, I'm not doing that. Like, nope, I'm good. Like we can let it go and not feel bad about it. I used to feel bad about telling people no. And now I'm just like sometimes I will feel bad, but I do get over it a lot quicker. Because I'm like, at the end of the day, I'm the one who got to sit here and be stressed out because I helped you do your whole to-do list. Meanwhile, I got a whole to-do list that you never even asked about. Or how could you service me? And I'm not somebody who asks for help often either. And, you know, that's something I do have to improve on is it's just not something that's ingrained in me to ask for help. I'm very independent. But at the same time, it's also nice if somebody asked if they could help. You know what I mean? So, like, if I know that somebody doesn't really have my interest at heart or something like that, I'll straight up tell them no. Like, no.
No, that's fair. Like,
or I won't answer the phone. Like there's times where I don't answer the phone or text messages from certain people because I know all they want to do is either get information out of me or dump all of their woes on me. It's like, I still love you, but I'm gonna spread out when I talk to you because I can't take on all of your crap too. Like you don't even know what's happening in my house.
Right.
So I just should think the boundary thing for me has been the biggest thing in my 20s is learning the boundaries.
That's a big one. I think the earlier that we learn that, the better we're going to be for like the rest of our lives. Like it really just changes the quality of our life. And besides no is one of my favorite words. Well, kind of my favorite word. Like sometimes I feel bad. I'm like, like you said, like you kind of feel like, well, how do I say it in a nice way? Like, of course, you don't want to be like straight up. No,
yeah, I'm not. When I say no, I don't mean like I'm just telling people no. Period. Like that's if I'm mad. But like I'll tell you nicely no.
Yeah, like not this time. No, I think besides that, learning to be assertive. that is where, like, not that I'm a passive person or let things just happen, but sometimes it can be hard to, like, find my voice in certain situations, especially when there's, like, a level of, like, authority and, like, a difference of authority, whether it's, like, dealing with an employer or things like that. Like, you have to have boundaries with those people, whether it's a parent or someone who you deem as higher than you or even on your level. And just, like, staying firm, like, okay, this is my boundary that you need to know. Like, this is where I draw the line. And that can be tough. It can be tough bending, especially when, like you said, being a people pleaser. You want to make sure everybody feels good. And then you wake up one day and you're like, dang, where is everybody? Like, where, I need something. Who can I run to? You know?
Right.
Like, kind of thing. I felt like I really hit that bottom, and you kind of hit a rock bottom as a people pleaser. Because you eventually, like you said, you're gonna crash, and it'd be like, what? Well, where is everybody? I had that when I moved last year. I will never forget this one person. I wonder if he even thinks about why I don't even talk to him anymore. Like, he was supposed to help.
Probably not. That's the thing. That's the thing that helps you move on, because you're like, you probably don't even care.
He never asked if I moved okay.
Exactly. Like,
yeah, I'm just, I was just in here like, no. And, like, even with that point, it's like checking who you call friend. Because when we're little, you call everybody your friend. You see the stranger, your mom like, oh, you just made a new friend. No, you just made an acquaintance. like you have to learn those categories too. Because some people will live in the realm of friendship until it no longer serves them. But it's like, oh, I can mooch off of Destiny. I know if I call her and tell her I need some help with something, if she's free, she gonna make herself available. Like, bop, bop, bop. Or I know Destiny's always gonna be there, so I can do whatever I want to do and then come back. And then when you finally, like, put your foot down, you're like, no. They're like, oh, bye. I feel like your 20s is definitely the season of learning that.
Yeah.
Because, like, of course you have your friends from college. Honestly, like, the people that I talk to on a regular basis, they aren't from college. And that's not to be, like, throwing shade to them. It's just, it is what it is. Like, you serve the purpose. Bye. Like, it's not like a bye, like, I don't want to talk to you. It depends on how we end it. If you show your true colors, then bye. Like, or it's like, oh, bye, girl, or bye, boy. See ya. Like, I wish you well from afar on Instagram. But you have to define who those solid people are. And even then, going back to the point of grace, you have to extend those people grace. Because people aren't perfect. There's no handbook on how to be a friend. There's no handbook on how to be any type of person in a personal relationship. But also sticking with your boundaries. If something violates a boundary, there's a way to go about talking about it. But if it's something that's real bad, like, bye.
I think when it comes to friendships and boundaries, one, I think a good test to know if you really even consider that person a friend is if they cross a boundary and you're willing to just cut off that friendship because they cross a boundary versus bringing it up. That's how it's like a good, like, test for myself. It's like, is that person really my friend? And they if they do something and I'm just willing to throw them away, they were I don't want them in the first place.
Not necessarily. Like, yes, I get what you're saying, but the other side of that is some people don't, like, if someone does violate a boundary, some people shy away from quote unquote confrontation. And I don't mean confrontation in the sense of like, oh, you did blah blah blah. It's like, no, confronting the issue. Like, hey, you did blah blah blah. I just want to talk about that. Let's dissect that. Like,
but I'm saying that comes with you wanting to fix it.
Like, you.
If I see it's like a litmus test for myself. If I notice that I'm not trying to fix it, hey, That was a friend I didn't need. Because obviously I don't feel like working on it. I'm not going to go through the motions, tell you what happened, all this stuff, if I don't care. If I care, we're going to talk about it.
Right.
If I don't care, we're not going to talk about it.
Yeah.
I feel like that's an easy way to see, like I'm not going to put forth the time and the effort to make you see the error of your ways or how you did wrong, or let's try to work on this and talk about communication if I don't care.
Yeah, that's one way of approaching it. That's one way.
I mean, maybe I should tell them, then they won't go like screw somebody else's life up. But at the end of the day, I don't really care. So yeah,
that's different. That's a different point of view of things. It's definitely different. I'm trying to think of a case where I'm like, bye. It's only if I realize that a person is toxic. Like,
yeah.
It's like I make sometimes a little bit too much grace for people, where like I may not address some things unless it's like it's really like it's unsettling me. I'm like, okay, we just gotta talk about it. Some stuff I'm like, they might have had a bad day. They're a little snappy, you know what? I'm gonna let that go. But if it becomes a habit, we're gonna address this kind of thing. That's what I mean when I say grace. I realized with one person, I ended up hanging out with them, met them through like an experience I had, like either an event or something like that. They connected for years, whatever. And I didn't realize until like spending more time with them, I'm like, this person ain't it. Like the way they would talk about people, like there's a difference between like, oh, you know, I had this experience with this person, it wasn't great. I mean like dogging out people. I'm like, you were just saying that this was your best friend.
Exactly. And sometimes people like that, that's a toxic trait, and you don't want to attach yourself with those people, so you just kind of distance yourself and you're no longer friends. It's not necessarily a conversation to be had, because you're like, you're not going to change.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to stop talking about people. You're just not, maybe just won't do it with me.
Period. And who's to say that you didn't go and do that with somebody else about me?
Exactly. That's what I mean by cutting people off. I don't mean like something silly. I mean something like that. That's a very toxic trait.
Yeah.
So those people, okay, obviously you don't want to be friends with those people. You're just like,
Yeah. Yeah. There's some necessary. Ow! Just caught a cramp in my foot. Hold on.
Already getting old. This is adulting.
Ow! It hurts.
You get cramps in your foot, Charlie horses, back pain.
Oh my
headaches.
God. Charlie horse. All of my ankle was like frozen.
This is adulting in real time.
Ow! I'm good. I need to stretch. I'm good. I need some.
Oh, that's another thing. You gotta stretch when you're in your 20s. You learn that you gotta stretch.
Yeah, I used to be so limber. Like I was that kid who randomly decided, let me see if I could put my legs behind my head, and it worked. I was that kid.
Exactly, because you would bounce back. Now it's like if I don't stretch before I do a walk, it's a wrap.
So like big day, icy hot. You need a Epsom salt bath
and a couple of days. You know,
Tylenol.
Yeah, the recovery time. I'm telling you, like the recovery time. The older you get, the recovery time from anything is like really extreme.
My metabolism, I need her to get it together.
That metabolism changes. You gotta stretch. Hangovers are not the same.
I've never really had that experience of a hangover. So
good.
I've had a couple where I'm like, the next day I'm like, feeling a little foggy. But like, not one of those people like, I gotta throw up. I don't like throw up. I do everything to avoid throwing up.
Sometimes it's not even about throw up. It's just like a feeling. Like
I'm afraid to throw up, so that's why.
That's a real thing. My sister has that.
Like, somebody be like, "Oh, I feel nauseous for real." All right, I'm gonna see you later. Drop y'all some ginger ale. I'll go pick it up. You just stay over there.
Are there any things in your adulthood where you're like, it's just kind of like those simple things you're like, this made me feel like an adult because I did this?
The first time that I really like felt it, and it felt like I was standing on a podium and the wind was blowing in my hair and I was looking up, and it was like that Olympic feeling, was when I got my car last year.
Okay.
Like, granted, yes, I got this apartment by myself, whatever. That's cool. Like, I had a moment I was like, dang, this really me. I'm here. Like, I've always wanted like that single life and living in the apartment, doing X, Y, and Z. That's cool. But like the car thing, I was like, oh, my name in it. Oh, when y'all looking for a payment, y'all call it me? That is crazy.
That's not the good part.
Well, it was just like, this is cool, but that's, I guess, when I really felt like, okay, and like to have my mom there to like witness that with me, like she was crying. She was like, I'm so happy. Like, I'm so glad that I could be here to witness this. I'm like, girl, stop crying. She's a crier. I'm not. Only cry when I'm like super excited. The last time I cried, I was super excited. It was a Justin Timberlake concert. But, you know, that was it. That was that moment where I was like, dang, I'm in this. Like, I got the car that I wanted. Like, somebody asked me yesterday, like, what's your dream car? I'm like, my car.
That's great. That's a good feeling.
It's my dream car. Like, that's all I wanted. I don't want a Lamborghini and blah, blah, blah.
That's a good one. That's a good one. That's a very adult purchase.
Ooh,
it's a car.
That's some adult money. I'm like, Lord.
The purchase just keeps giving. You just gotta every month you just reminded, oh, I'm an adult. I'm an adult.
I'm like, ooh, thank you, God. I love this car, but like, yeah. I feel like I will feel like a real adult when I get my first like property. So
oh yeah,
that right there, when I get a homeowners association letter, I'll be like, hey, we here. I'm associated with the homeowners.
Here is your homeowners association fee.
Well, I'm in the association. Can I put this on my LinkedIn? Like,
can I put this on my LinkedIn? That's like putting PTA member on your LinkedIn. Come on. Okay.
What about?
I can totally see somebody doing that. Like, oh, you know, like, I'm in the HOA. So, and they're like, oh, what's homeowners association?
Yes, I'm a dominant member. I am very up to date with all my membership fees.
I set up the chairs at every HOA meeting, you know? I make sure they're all aligned. And I bring the snacks sometimes, you know? Sometimes I even host it.
That's different. That's a step right there.
Step.
I mean, hey, when that happens, y'all can't tell me nothing. I'm about to have all kinds of sleepovers at my house.
You going forward or backward?
I'm like, hey girl, come on over. Oh, what you mean you don't work tomorrow? It's fine. Come, you got a car, right? Just come on.
Park your car in my 4-car garage. It's fine.
Go ahead, girl. I got 3 other spaces. Take your pick, whichever one. Oh yeah, we Dion coming over too. He coming. Like, it's just a whole sleepover.
Yeah, that would be you. Actually, I can see that. I can see that.
When I have my housewarming is a summer party.
I can see that.
Everybody come. You gotta wear silk pajamas. You know, well, and make sure it's covering your behind, because some people get a little. That's for the men too.
Kind of men booty out silk pajamas have you seen?
Look, that new Rihanna Fenty drop. I just don't want them coming in here showing no fruit of the loom, okay? It ain't that kind of party. It's a sleepover.
Well, speaking of pajamas, that's one of my ways that I feel like an adult now. Like, as a kid, I used to love pajamas. Like, I had pajamas, you know, Powerpuff Girls, whatever. Full pajama sets. I would wear them every day. Then I got older, high school, college, did not care about pajamas, just wear t-shirts, shorts, whatever was there. Now I just feel so put together, like take my shower, do all that, and then put on a matching set, a matching pajama set. Like I just feel so put together when I put on a matching pajama set now. Like I want pajamas. I used to be like, oh my gosh, you bought me pajamas? Like it's like buying socks. Like you bought me socks. But now I'm like, you bought me socks? You bought me pajamas? Like, and they match? That's just a small little luxury for myself is buying pajamas. So when I buy a new pajama set, I just really feel put together. Man, and if the slippers match, luxury, okay? Luxury living. So pajamas for me is a big deal right now. I think the first time where I really felt like an adult was when, right after I graduated college, my friend and I decided to go on a trip. So we wanted to go to Europe. And we decided to go for 3.5 weeks. And I stayed up for a day. Like, my mom was on me trying to get me to freaking get this trip together. Brianna, you're gonna miss the deadlines, you're gonna miss the flights, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that, blah blah blah. You said you wanted to leave in 2 weeks, you don't have anything planned. She was driving me nuts, and I was like, don't worry, I got it, I'll take care of it. I planned with the help of my roommate, but I planned a very thorough, extensive trip to Europe in 3.5 weeks, way under budget. 3 countries, multiple cities in each country, all of our flights, trains, modes of transportation, Airbnbs, hotels was booked and put together within a few days. And I just felt like I really made it. And my mom was just so shocked that I pulled it off.
She's like, oh, I didn't think you was really
She was like, you're a procrastinator. You be waiting to the last minute to do everything. Yes, I do.
Horrible.
But I pulled it off.
Horrible.
I'm learning, you know, I'm a little bit better than that. Now that gives me anxiety that I did that so last minute. But me then, I felt so accomplished. Like I put together this entire trip. Like I felt so accomplished and such like an adult. Like I did all of this. That was my first instance for sure. Okay. And yeah.
That's impressive. That is very impressive. Like, are there any like parts of adulting that like feel intimidating?
I think moments where I've had to maybe be an advocate for myself, ask for a raise, for example, that's really intimidating.
Yeah, I haven't done
like exactly, like when you have to do that, you have to really do it professionally and really think about it, and you also have to like brag about yourself at the same time. Like it's a weird thing. I don't like that, but that's something that's intimidating to me because that's something you're going to constantly have to do in your career. So that is intimidating. I think whenever it's time for me to really purchase a home of some sort, that's going to be intimidating. I heard that process is interesting. I think that's going to be hard. I'm trying to think of anything else that's intimidating. Yeah, no, I think those are the only things I can think of. What about you?
All of it. I'm kidding. I guess like the biggest part would be like just making sure I'm like financially secure. That's like the most intimidating aspect of adulting because like it affects you in so many ways. Besides like, oh, I don't have this money. It's like, okay, if I don't have this money, I can't afford to live. If I can afford to live, where I'm gonna go live, like kind of thing. So like it's just like a rippling effect. And because I realized the severity of like finances, it's a little scary because it's like every time I'm making a move, I'm thinking of like, how could this affect me a year from now? Or always like the what ifs. I feel like adulting makes you think about the what ifs a lot. And in a sense of like, okay, well, what if I lose my job tomorrow? Am I going to be able to afford rent for like up to 3 months or something like that? Like just those different things where it's like that's your livelihood. So that
The
is
stakes get higher for sure.
yeah, like it's no longer, oh, if I don't get this A, I might fail this class or whatever. I don't know. Whatever little mediocre concerns you have in college.
They ain't gonna let me go to the amusement park if with this report card.
Like now it's like, oh, the officer not gonna let you go because you don't have your license on the piece of plastic. Like, sir, I got a picture of it. No, I mean I never.
Oh my gosh, should I leave the flat iron plugged in? Like, that's never happened to me. But you know, stuff like that. You double check things a lot because at the end of the day, everything will be your fault.
That's the biggest thing. It's like you can't any longer be like, oh, my parents told. No, okay, they told you that, but did you take the time to learn?
It's like, all your fault.
Like you just be sitting there, just like, and also too, it's like safety is such a big thing for me. Like when it comes to picking where to live, even when it came to like getting my car, I was like, well, what's the safest car that like is in alignment to the car that I want? And I looked at my car. I was like,
that's a big one for you. That's a big one. Continue.
So I was looking at, you know, does the car have airbags all around? So if the car flips over, am I gonna die off an impact? Like whatever. Like I was thinking about all that. And it's like, I feel like I'm always just trying to figure out how to keep me alive. That is scary. Like as just, first off, just as a woman, that is scary because there's so many people trying to come after women, whether to kidnap them for like sex slavery and like that stuff. So like that is scary. And then it's not even just men, like because you grow up you think, oh, you just need to protect yourself from men. No, you gotta protect yourself from women too. There's some women out here corroborating with these men to like snatch you up. It's a no. And then not even just as drastic, I don't want to say it's drastic, but not even to that level too, like just day-to-day interactions with people, making sure you're being safe, keep in mind of that. That's scary too. Like I don't want to be every time I turn around like, you know, kind of thing. So that is weird. Just trying to keep me alive. I don't know how parents do it. How do you keep you alive and keep a kid? How?
Hopefully you've perfected keeping you alive before you have the kid.
I feel like there's no such thing as perfecting keeping you alive because you're going to get thrown a wrench. Every time
you will, but I just think about like people who are really young and stuff, and it's like I have more survival skills than I did before.
You do.
How can I keep somebody else alive if I'm like young? We both the same age. Trying to figure it out.
We both need this.
Right.
You ain't got the answer? I don't have the answer.
Like we both asking my mama what to do. Like like I don't know how young parents do it. I don't, because I would be like lost.
So I know we just kind of hit all the dark stuff. So without the rose-colored lenses, what do we see being the future of our adulthood? Like, I'm gonna start with, let's see, I like asking men this question. What's your 5-year goal? So what's your 5-year goal?
I don't like this question.
I like it because the thing is, even if you don't hit none of that, at least I know you're thinking about it. 5-year goal.
I'm thinking about a lot of things, but I don't put a thing on it anymore. That's my 20s have shown me, like, man, life comes at you fast. 2020 ruined everything. Like, I'm just over here like, 10-year goal?
And who? Are we gonna be around in 10 years?
Exactly. Like, I don't know.
Okay, let me not do that. Let's just say, what do you want to accomplish by the end of your 20s? There's some years there, you know.
Like 3.
We don't put numbers out there. By the end of your 20s, and what do you look forward to happening in your 30s? That way we're not thinking too far. That's like just this 10-year span and that 10-year span.
I look forward to, so like I was saying earlier, how I feel like my life is in different phases, and like I have a different mindset in each category. Mm-hmm. Once I reached like my mid-20s area, like you feel a lot more secure with yourself. Like that's what I've heard from a lot of people, and I've felt that true for myself. I'm a lot more secure with who I am, mm-hmm. and more confident in my abilities now. Mm-hmm. And you know, a lot of that is probably because of experience. Mm-hmm. So I don't get intimidated by things as much, and I feel like I can figure things out easier. So I'm looking forward to being even more secure in my abilities and what I can do, and setting more boundaries. Okay. And all that, like all that came with time and experience, and I'm glad to be past all of the early 20s. To be honest, like as a whole, was kind of trash. Like as far like mentally, it was like there's some fun times.
I was like.
There's some fun times, like, and there's some fun, carefree times that I will never forget. But there's a lot of moments where it's struggle, like you're struggling to figure stuff out. And so I finally feel like I'm in a place where I'm not struggling to figure things out. Things happen to me, and I adapt quicker. Mm-hmm. So I think in my 30s, I'm just looking forward to more stability. And for the rest of my 20s, I'm looking forward to more stability and more just fun times. Like I want to travel a lot more, mm-hmm. Especially when we're able to travel. Seeing how we were stopped from traveling has really pushed me to be like, when we are able to travel, I want to really, really prioritize it, mm-hmm. especially before I have a family. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Those are mine. Okay. What about you?
By the end of my 20s, I think, I want to be more secure in like my career. Because I know a lot of like the early beginnings of your journey, especially like in entertainment, it's more so of just trying to get your foot in the door. Like, oh, just let me just take this job. Like, this job could be really great because blah, blah, blah is working here and da-da-da-da-da, and it could introduce me and da-da-da-da. I'm like, I don't want to still be in that same position when I'm exiting out of my 20s. I want to be like, okay, yeah, I may not necessarily be where the end goal is, because the end goal is always changing, honestly. I like wear 50 million different hats, so I don't have like a happy ending. Like if this happens, I just know like, this is great. I also want, this is not my control, takes two to tango. I want to make my dating life more of a priority, because growing up, I was basically like, oh, just focus on the books, do this. And it's like, you wake up, now you're 20-something, and your grandma keep asking you if you met a man. So it's like, okay, like maybe I should actually start putting in more of an effort for that, and, just putting myself out there, even just putting myself out there just for networking and relationships and things like that. I really want to be in the place where I know people in diverse industries. And that's really it for like the 20s. And then too, I want to purchase a home. Like, it doesn't have to be a mansion. Like, I personally don't care for that kind of stuff. But I want to have something that will be mine. Like, I am tired of throwing out money. Like, almost $2,000 a month for this. And it's like, you throw away all that money, you don't have a home. Like, if they decided today they were selling the place, you got to go find another place. So, yeah, definitely more stability for that. In my 30s, I Actually, no, sorry. In my 20s too, we traveling. I want to be fluent in Spanish, okay? I want to be up here, hola, me llamo Destiny, okay? And I can speak a little bit more Spanish.
Is that how far we got?
I can speak some Spanish. I took 10 years. I just need to get back into the habit of it. I know. I'm practicing on Duolingo now. And even picking up a second language. So, like, I'm learning Italian. Italian is so hard, but I'm learning it. So, like, doing something like that. And getting my health. I want to be fine. Like, I want to be, like, in shape. I want to be Megan Thee Stallion. Well, I don't want to be her, but, like, I want to, my knees need to be in check. That's all. They need to be sturdy. 30s, my knees still need to be sturdy.
30 and sturdy.
30 and sturdy. Hey! I hope to, in my 30s, definitely be in a better financial situation, be more comfortable to where it's like, I don't have to think, oh, can I do that? Like, not to say that I would be out here spending willy-nilly, but like, I don't always have to be like, okay, ooh, if I spend $2 extra, that means I can't eat today. I mean, I'm not at that point right now, but it's just, you know, just for exaggeration purposes, but to be able to do nice things for me and nice things for my family, be in that place, hopefully starting a family too, if not before then. I wanted to say that in my 20s, but I don't want y'all looking at me like I'm crazy. So there's that. Y'all judge me all the time for that. In my 20s, yes, I want to start a family. So yeah, that's me.
Okay. I think these are all very attainable. We'll see what life throws at us, but I mean, maybe if we still doing this podcast in 10 years, we can circle back.
Hey girl, this is a homegirl check-in.
With the baby on your hip. Hey girl.
Hey girls, excuse me. Well, Jamal would not. He would not stay in his crib. His daddy over there playing 2K47. Like,
oh no.
No, my husband. I mean, you can play video games, but you're not gonna leave me with no baby because you want.
Not while I'm doing the podcast.
Right.
Take.
You got a basketball game with your boys? Well, you better be on the sideline with the stroller.
But play around his nap time.
Right. Oh God, that just oh
yeah, no, I'm not ready for that.
I tell y'all, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Just make sure to let us know your thoughts about any of the topics, whether you're struggling with adulting too, or you know you got some goals you want to get off your chest. Let us know. Drop in the comments, or if you're listening on Apple Music, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or any of your other platforms, make sure to give us 5 stars if that's their system, a like, or even just a subscription, because you know we got more things to talk about. So,
and if you have any suggestions for us for topics or any questions for us or anything you want advice on that you think maybe we can help with, let us know. Shoot us a DM or comment on one of our posts. We like to be more interactive with everybody. So yeah, thank you guys so much for listening.
And also, if you didn't catch our Instagram, it is I Just Think It's Funny _pod, as in like a lily pod. And
as in podcast.
That too. Even better. Even better. Even better. All right, y'all. See y'all next week.
Bye.